What gives you hope for the future of the Lutheran Church, the Christian Church here today?
What gives me hope is that I have had this experience of seeing the way that local communities of faith nurture hope, nurture strength, and are places of inclusion um, as a source of collective sort of solidarity in bringing stories together that empowers people to step into public space and make real change. And I'll give you two examples. Um, at the most global level, there's such a thing as the Universal Periodic Review of Human Rights. This happens at the Human Rights Council in Geneva. It is a time when every country comes up before the Human Rights Council to really take stock in status and what's the situation with human dignity in your country. So every country, United States included, comes and has to give a report on the status of classes such as women, children, healthcare, education, levels of poverty, things like this. And of course, every country comes and every country makes its best puts its best face on for the UPR. What we do, because we have consultative status with the Human Rights Council, is we work with our local churches. And if you can imagine a local community in the bush of Nigeria, right, where there's still practices of things like um, um, child marriage or female genital mutilation, practices such as this, that would isolate someone, individuals, and give such a sense of kind of hopelessness. Our Lutheran congregations in all of these countries around the world are able to gather stories. We know the names, we know the experiences of people on the ground. And as a global communion, we have this mechanism to participate in these processes where we collect these stories, where we bring them to light, and we give voice to the voiceless. And sometimes that has made great changes. The church in Colombia participating in peace projects where the church was so trusted by these sort of intergovernmental processes that they were able to host meetings and conversations that made real effective change and created new sources of hope and peace where they live. And the second is with young people in terms of our participation in climate justice at the level of the Conference of Parties, these international gatherings. We are able to gather together our youth and young people, some from the United States and all the other 7 regions around the globe, to bring their stories and to give them a platform, and not only to hear each other, but to empower each other to speak truth to power, and to contribute to the change that we want to be. And I think that for us, that's why when we see a lot of the division that is happening in our country right now, when we see a lot of the pressures for sort of cultural uniformity, this is why our communion is a gift to us and hopefully a source of hope for the ELCA, because it teaches us and embodies that we can't lose hope, that we have it. We can't let go of that ground to exclusionary narratives that would sort of stifle the diversity that is a gift of the Spirit. And in a time when people are using the name of Christ, to proclaim exclusion, we have a different reality. We are included as a part of this beautiful, diverse global body, where we have seen the best of ourselves come together and make real change. So I hope for those who are listening, for everybody in this context who kind of struggle to feel like they have a voice or that they can make a change, that the church is a place where you're seen, you're heard, and we have this great gift of the gospel that unites us to make great change. So that's where I see hope today.
Thank you, Dr. Rimmer, for sharing your experiences of Lutheranism around the globe, and for bringing to all of us this very fascinating discussion about the varieties through which we express that. We will put a link in the show notes here to this Now There Are Varieties document that Dr. Rimmer has referred to. If you would like to read more information about how the Lutheran World Federation has addressed this issue. Thank you for listening.